Welcome back to Making Major. This is episode 8 of the 2023 Outland Empire Post-Mortem. I'm just going to hop right into it. I'm continuing on the match feedbacks that I got. Most of these are negative because that's what we tend to focus on as people. I got a lot of good stuff, but the negatives are the one where I mostly can learn from. Needs more no-shoots, hardcover, leans. Yeah, so some people thought that for a technical match it needed more no-shoots, hardcover, leans. I tend to agree with that, but I also think that that might have gone in the wrong direction of being overly punishing. The stages were already so small, and you had to perform like you couldn't roller coaster the entire match. You had to perform at a consistent level to make a good finish. So I think adding no-shoots, hardcover, and even more leans, we're not adding more leans, those were covered earlier, but no-shoots and hardcover would have brought hit factors down and would have made the roller coaster thing happen even more. So I think in isolated, like single stages, not a bad idea, but across an entire match where that purpose is what we did, there's no real digging yourself out of a hole at this match. There wasn't an opportunity to like gain lots of points on somebody just by doing way better than them. Like, you do really good, the difference is 5 points instead of 30 points. So not for this one, but yes, I get it. Some RO calls not really based on rules until challenged. That one I compare with a lot of newbie ROs, mix of ROs a bit more. That's good feedback. I didn't get as many of the experienced ROs as I was expecting for this match, and some had to back out due to sickness and whatever. So we had a lot of more junior ROs, and as best I could, I paired the most junior with the most senior to kind of level out and make like two decent ROs versus like one really good one and one not bad, but you get the point. And on some stages, I have a few more specific feedbacks about that I'm not going to bring up here. I talk to individual ROs about those sorts of things. But on some stages, like two moderate ROs brought the level down a little bit. And that is a lesson learned. I'm not going to do that again. And I don't know how to bring more senior ROs into it. Like, if you don't want an RO match, you don't want an RO match. It just is what it is. Less leans, yes, covered in previous videos. Waterproof targets were great. Absolutely, yes. The waterproof targets were absolutely life-saving. We had 4, maybe 5 hardcover targets at the match altogether. Those were normal targets, not waterproof, so those were bagged when it was wet, and those were the only targets that were bagged. Everything else, waterproof targets. It was amazing. Like, people were able to tape quickly and consistently, and when it's wet out and you have waterproof targets, even if it's cold, the pasters actually stick. Because normally when it's cold and dry, you really have to push them on there, and people suck at it, and it starts falling off, and people complain, and you're like, just push it on there. Separate rant. Yeah, waterproof targets, awesome. Actually, multiple people were complaining sus penalties on the speed shoot. That was the shoot array 1, 8 pieces of steel, reload, then engage array 2. People were obviously peeved that if you miss the reload and like you don't reload between arrays, you get penalties for every shot after the reload should have happened. And per the rules, and I covered this previously, it is 1 per. Well, 1 per shot, actually. That one's interesting. What I said at the match was 1 per piece of steel, and it said per shot. Reading the rules, I'm going to post it up here. There's a rule, it's like 10.4, I think, or 10.3, somewhere. You'll see the numbers. It says penalties apply. You can't, basically no double jeopardy. You can only apply as many penalties as their hits are for the rules above this rule. And then 2 rules down is the one about you miss the reload, and it's per shot for every shot you take after when the reload was supposed to happen. So technically, if I wanted to read that exactly verbatim and like really hurt people, it should have been per shot. Instead, it was per shot up to 8. I prefer the way I penalize that, because a lot of people would have gotten even more penalties, and like, you already zeroed the stage. It's not like double zeroing it is kind of stupid. Okay, moving on. Lefties hosed on stage 6. Yep, covered that previously. I am sorry. The lesson has been learned. Yep. Less gaming the rules to make difficult stages. That one was a little bit more nuanced. I got a bunch of different feedbacks, and reading between the lines, like obviously Eric and I gamed the rules to make stages and to make them a little bit more difficult than it may have needed to be. See stage 6. But I get it. We as stage designers game the rules to make what we want happen. And we definitely did that. Yep. Probably just going to stick to plain Comstock stages for later. Okay, not all divisions categories included. Yeah, I had some people that weren't too pleased about single stack and Revo not being included. Or sorry, single stack was included because there were enough for a division to be recognized. I think we had 6. Same with production, we had like 6. It was Revo and L10. Well, we had one guy that wanted to shoot Revo, and he ended up shooting it. He got to shoot in production because there's an exemption for it. I mean, have 4 more of your buddies sign up for the match and then show up is pretty much all I can tell you. Same thing with the categories. I'm pretty verbal about not wanting to give Leo any category recognition, so we didn't. We only gave military recognition, and yep, that's how we feel about that. And then the senior, super senior, that sort of thing, or distinguished senior, or whatever. Don't care. All of you guys are senior, and we didn't recognize you. Yep. We recognized ladies, juniors, and military. The 3 categories that actually matter. Fight me. Shooters just littering randomly. This one's interesting, and this is the last piece of feedback that I have from the entire list. But one of the comments talked about how shooters here were littering kind of all over the place, like pieces of tape, patch tape, because we were using the waterproof pasters, so you have that little extra tape, just kind of all over the ground, and like kind of crap on the ground. In fairness, we did not have trash cans out for the first part of the morning. That's our mistake, and they would have been soaked in water anyways, but still should have been out. But that kind of smells of a culture problem, that like rather than, you know, holding on to it or like having a bag or something, or like sticking it in a pocket or something, you just kind of toss it onto the ground. And I'm a little bit disappointed about that, that was even a thing that somebody recognized was an issue. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to do about that. We get people that kind of toss their shit into like the buckets with like the tablet and the new pasters, and they just kind of use that as a trash bin when there's a normal trash bin right next to it. I don't know, other than me catching people in the act and shaming them very loudly in front of their entire squad, I don't think there's much to be done to fix that sort of behavior. So if you see some dickhead littering, call them out, please. Like, that's just shitty behavior. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's enough of being a downer. I got one more episode I want to do, and that's basically just going to be me and Eric talking for a few minutes, and that'll be episode 9 at this rate. So see you in that one.